T'es RM1, Nord-Sud 98.9, Centre 97.3, Est-Ouest 91.7. RM1, la radio nationale.
RM1, it's 9 o'clock. The news presented by Aries Stewart. Good morning, Aries.
Good morning, Sophie.
The headlines.
Paul Béranger's leadership and political future on the line as MMM Central Committee set to meet this afternoon. Fresh twist in the Caen-les-Vieux hit and run as 19-year-old driver is rearrested facing new charges amid revelations of delayed investigative information. CB sounds an urgent warning over a surge in illegally connected solar installations, cautioning of severe safety risks and potential power disconnections. Nearly 2 years on, healthcare assistants from the 2022 and 2023 cohorts renewed their appeal for long-promised job confirmation, denouncing stalled administrative processes. And world news, the UN Security Council prepares to vote on a Gaza peace plan while Netanyahu's government intensifies its opposition. And in sports news, Good Counsel triumphs in a thrilling Maiden Cup victory. This afternoon, after more than 48 hours of waiting, the political fate of Paul Béranger will finally be known. A special meeting of the Central Committee has been scheduled for 5 p.m. The objective to validate or reject his decision to leave the government. Far beyond Béranger's future within the government, it is above all his future at the head of the MMM that hangs in the balance today. Within the ranks of the MMM, frustration has grown over the weekend. Several MPs and ministers have openly made it clear to their leader that they have no intention of following him. Aware that he is in the minority within the political bureau, the party's supreme body, as well as in a potential assembly of delegates, the grassroots body that, according to the MMM's constitution, should normally have been convened to decide on a matter of such magnitude. Paul Béranger has instead chosen to rely on his Central Committee to try to keep control of the party he founded 56 years ago in September 1969. His aim is to take the MMM as a whole out of the government. Among the roughly 30 members of the Central Committee, the leader of the MMM hopes to secure the support of more than half. Should that happen, the dissenting MPs and ministers will have no choice but to leave the party if they wish to remain in government, either by joining the Labour Party, which is highly unlikely, or by creating yet another parallel, a militant platform. There's been a new twist in the fatal hit and run that claimed the life of Muzamil Hossein Bakis in Caen-les-Vieux. The driver, 19-year-old Nigel Decidé, was arrested again this Saturday and placed in custody. He is expected to face 4 new charges: involuntary homicide by recklessness, gross negligence, driving under the influence of drugs, and driving without a license. In a statement, the office of the DPP said it was informed late of essential elements of the investigation. During an urgent meeting on 14 November, several new facts were presented to the DPP, although they should have appeared in the police's initial memo dated 9 November. The DPP also deemed regrettable the statement issued by the police press office, which referred to the police's objection to the suspect's release and not that of the DPP's office, without specifying that the DPP had not been given all the material information. As a reminder, the reconstruction exercise planned had been cancelled due to the anger of the victims' relatives, who denounced a procedural flaw. The Central Electricity Board has issued an urgent call to the public. The organization says it has observed a growing number of illegally connected photovoltaic solar installations on its network. The CEB warns that these unauthorized installations pose serious risks and could result in power disconnection for offenders. More details in this report by Ashi Bachu, voiced by Jenny Yalapa.
In a statement, the Central Electricity Board explains that more and more individuals are installing solar systems without the mandatory authorization from the Utility Regulatory Authority and the CEB. According to current regulations, any energy source connected to the grid must be registered and approved by both entities. The CEB warns that these clandestine installations expose occupants' buildings and equipment to major major risks: electrocution, fire, and deterioration of the quality of electricity supplied. They also endanger CEB teams who cannot anticipate the presence of undeclared systems during maintenance work. The organization therefore asks anyone who owns an unauthorized solar system with or without a battery to disconnect it immediately and regularize their situations. Applications can be submitted at CEB service centers or sent by email. The CEB warns that it will not hesitate to disconnect the electrical supply of any building where an illegal installation is detected. It also reminds the public that failing to obtain the necessary authorizations constitute a criminal offense punishable by a fine up to 100,000 rupees and a prison sentence of up to 5 years. Concerned customers have until 15 January 2026 to comply. After this deadline, the CEB reserved the right to take all necessary measures.
According to our Information Energy Minister, Patrick Kassiavaden will address this issue during a press briefing this Wednesday. And moving to the health sector, healthcare assistants recruited in 2022 and 2023 are once again sounding the alarm. They are asking the Minister of Health and the relevant authorities to honour the commitments made in their appointment letters. Despite a promise of confirmation after completing their year of studies and passing the entry exam, many of them are still waiting for their confirmation. An almost 2-year wait for some, even as 2025 is already drawing to an end. Report by Santana Poncenou, voiced over by Jenny Yalapa.
They say they have respected everything: training, exams, service at the heart of public hospitals and health centers. Yet, nearly 2 years after their recruitment, the healthcare assistants of 2022 and 2023 cohorts claim they still have not received the confirmation promised in their appointment letters. According to those letters, each HCA was supposed to be confirmed in their position after completing their year of studies and passing the entry exam, a clear, structured process that was meant to be automatic. But in reality, they explain their file seems to be stuck somewhere between different administrative departments. Each time they inquire, including during their latest request at the beginning of 2025, the authorities reportedly told them that the documents are being prepared and that the regularization would be completed soon. Yet, 11 months later, nothing has changed. The HCAs say they are living with professional and financial uncertainty, no confirmation of employment, inability to plan for the future, and above all, a feeling of lack of recognition despite working daily in often overstretched services. They are therefore appealing directly to the Minister of Health and all concerned so that their files can be finally processed as planned. According to them, it is simply a matter of honoring a written administrative commitment and giving HCAs the stability they deserve after working tirelessly since their recruitment. The concerned HCAs now hope for a swift response as the year draws to an end and their wait continues.
And it's 9:08. You're listening to RM1. We move to international news. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and members of his government have reiterated their opposition to a Palestinian state ahead of a UN Security Council vote on Monday on a resolution endorsing a US-backed Gaza peace plan. The draft resolution would follow up on the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas, giving the Council's approval for a transitional administration and a temporary international security force in the devastated territory. Unlike previous drafts, the latest version mentions a possible future Palestinian state, something the Israeli government strongly opposes. Netanyahu has long rejected Palestinian independence, arguing that creating a Palestinian state would reward Hamas and eventually lead to an even larger Hamas-run state on Israel's borders.
Les actus sportives.
And finally, in sports, in horse racing this weekend, the coveted Maiden Cup was won by Good Counsel, ridden by South African jockey Raymond Danielson. Thanks to a well-executed tactical move, young trainer Arvin Nagadu captured the most prestigious of the classic races in front of an electrified crowd at the Champ de Mars yesterday. It was a historic day for his stable, with 3 additional wins: Zakatu in the first race, Mystery Cash in the second, and Talking Silk in the 8th. That's all from me this morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned now to the Intimate playlist.